Welcome to the More Than ADHD podcast, episode 5. Last week, I had the opportunity to attend the 2024 Disability In Conference in Las Vegas. It was incredible, one of the best professional experiences of my life. And being there, it was so great to be surrounded by other diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging professionals working in HR, human resources, working in recruitment, working in leadership. And they made sure to be very intentional about being inclusive. Here at the beginning of the podcast, I want to make sure I do a better job of self-describing because that conference inspired me. So you are right now listening to ADHD Coach Ryan. I am a Caucasian male, just freshly shaven today because I had a speaking engagement earlier. I am wearing a long sleeve button-up gray shirt, very nicely done up hair, and a contagious and enthusiastic smile. Today's topic is triage your tasks. What does that mean? Stay tuned to find out. But first, I would love to have you comment below. What are some tasks that really stress you out? Comment below. What are some tasks that really stress you out? If this is your first time here, so glad that you came to check it out. I'm Ryan Mayer, certified ADHD coach, neuroinclusion advocate, and master facilitator. And I am your guide taking you through the world of ADHD. But there's so much more to us than our ADHD, hence the name of the podcast. So today we're going to be talking about triaging your tasks. In other words, just like they do in an emergency room, what do you do when you feel like everything's coming at you and everything seems like an emergency? Watch the whole episode all the way through so you can get some tips on how to better handle your to-do and your task list. Towards the top of every episode, I want to make sure that I can let all of you know why I am here. The Ryan Mayer Coaching mission statement is to help to lead the inclusion revolution. And to do that, I coach others with ADHD and other non-apparent disabilities to take actionable steps towards their goals so that they can show up as their best selves, live their best lives. And I am on a mission to empower all of us towards our greatness and help to change the way that the world sees those of us with invisible disabilities, especially in the workplace. So with that, let's jump right in. One of the reminders that I love to tell all of our listeners, my clients, and everyone who checks out all of our content on various social platforms, and by the way, you can look right here for all of my handles on the different socials, so make sure you're following us there as well. But here's the thing is, you don't have to go through this process alone. Everyone should have a place to go where they can feel they belong, where they can get treatment and the care that they deserve. That's why I chose to partner with ADHD Online. They've got one of the best online assessments and access to amazing, talented, credentialed support. So you can go to ADHDonline.com and at checkout, enter discount code CoachRyan50. That's Coach Ryan 50 for $50 off of your initial assessment. Side note, I just took my medication for my ADHD. If you haven't taken yours, here's your Ryan reminder. And also make sure to hydrate. I just did that as well, and it'll be good for you. Your brain will thank you. Just remember, you're never in this alone. We are here with you, and ADHD Online can be here with you too. I love partnering with them and telling you about the good things that they are working on. Triaging your tasks. I want to make sure that I give credit where credit is due. And I got this from this TED Talk right here, one that has 185,000 views, an emergency room doctor, Dr. Daria Long, who talks about not having to say that you are crazy busy. I like to say I'm busy and blessed. But regardless of that, she gives this really great system that I wanted to share with you. Especially when you have ADHD, sometimes it feels like all of the tasks that come our way are something that we can't control, that we have to handle everything now. But I want to tell you, you don't have to feel that way. There are ways you can triage, because if you think about an emergency room, it's got the sliding doors that open and people are coming in. There's an ambulance, there's a 5-car pileup, there's gunshot wounds, all these things are happening, right? And that is sort of like us during our day-to-day working our way through tasks that we can feel like, oh my gosh, there's chaos. But when other people are depending on us, as Dr. Long talks about, you have to be in a ready state. So instead of feeling flustered, just be ready. Just know, hey, you're working in an emergency room, so you expect there's going to be things that are going to happen that might be unexpected. That's why her system is so important. Think about, the example she gives is that someone might come in and they have a gunshot wound. So that person needs immediate attention or else their life is in danger. She considers that to be a red, in this case, task. And then maybe somebody comes in and they have, a child has fallen off a playground equipment and broken their arm. So that is definitely serious, but not life-threatening. So we'd call that a yellow. And then this is the example that she gives is someone comes in with an object stuck somewhere where it shouldn't be. And she's like, you can think of your imagination. I always talk about like a pen up somebody's nose, for example, where that's frustrating and it's uncomfortable, but you're not going to die. So you can wait for a little bit. That would be considered a green task. And then the last one, which is the hardest, especially for those of us with ADHD, which is something where you just have to draw the line. You have to honor the boundaries that you won't be able to do everything. And those are called the black tasks. Like, I'm sorry, Mr. Smith, there's nothing we can do. Take him off life support kind of thing. Now, I know that might sound sort of morbid or brutal or too cut and dry, but honestly, we have to have some sort of system to be able to categorize what we're going to work on and what we're not. And so we're talking about our life. That's what's at stake here is how are we going to spend our time? We only get so much time each day. I know for me, I work from home, and on days when the kids are not home, I am trying to move as quickly as I possibly can to be efficient, to get through the things that are most important, because as soon as they come home, it's time to switch into dad and husband mode, which is what I want to do. But I think all of you can appreciate the fact that it's not easy for us once other distractions come in to be able to get things done. So triaging your tasks. And to do that, there are some things that we can do. Some suggestions I have. Now is one of my favorite parts of the show where I get to give you the tip of the day. And the tip of the day today is make sure you do your pre-flight checklist. And I mean, this could also be applied to the emergency room analogy, because as a patient gets rolled in on the gurney, if someone has to do surgery, for example, on a gunshot wound, obviously there's all kinds of things, a checklist. I know that Dr. Atul Gawande has a book called The Checklist Manifesto. Just like a pilot before takeoff needs to go through a pre-flight checklist, because in those moments when there's a lot of stress, and this could be, whether you're going to be taking a flight, whether you're treating a patient, or whether you're just handling another work project, or even projects at home and multiple demands, making sure that you're doing the minimum mandatory to get yourself set up for success so that you don't have to think about those other things. So how does that apply? Like, what does that actually mean? Well, here is how it translates. To start the day, I always have to do what I call the on-ramp activities. So for me, and I know we talked about this a little bit on one of the previous episodes, but it's that important. The pre-flight checklist comes down to, what are you going to do to set yourself up for success for that day? So for me, that is moving my body, doing at least 1 minute of meditation, doing some body weight exercises, and then setting my 3 goals for the day. Because that way, when a bunch of different, I'm using air quotes right now, patients come through the door, we will want to make sure that we know what our priorities are. And I know what you're probably thinking. The last episode we talked about picking 3 things to work on during the day. Oh, wow, Coach Ryan, how revolutionary. Like, really, that's your big idea, is to be able to just pick 3 things and work on it? Okay, well, fair enough, but let's talk about what's not working. Endless to-do lists, productivity apps, working until your eyes hurt so badly from looking at a screen that you have to give up, or you fall asleep on your laptop. That's not a great way to do it. Or you procrastinate until it's so urgent that you have to do it, or you take in copious amounts of caffeine, you set a bunch of reminders that you might ignore, maybe you're taking medication, maybe you're not, and you have a bunch of negative self-talk. So there's that, but I don't think that that's the way you want to do it, right? Let's come up with a different way to do this. And I'm going to tell you a different way to do it right after a word from our sponsors.
Oh boy, if you think you might have ADHD, or even if you're pretty sure you don't, but you've been having trouble focusing, take the assessment at ADHDonline.com. Regardless of your results, you'll be closer to getting the care that you deserve. Hot dog.
Thank you, Mickey. That was Mickey Mouse. Quick little cameo doing a little spot for our friends over at ADHD Online. And Mickey, if someone does go to ADHD Online, how could they redeem a code?
Oh, well, all they need to do is put in Coach Ryan 50. That's Coach Ryan 50 at ADHDonline.com for $50 off. Wow, that sure is a lot.
Okay, so we've talked in previous episodes about all you have to do is win. Win stands for what is needed. So in order to win the game, we have to be, hold on, what is it? If we're going to win a game, we have to know how to play the game. So today's big takeaway is you got to find a way for you to play. What does that mean? Play. It's an acronym. I love acronyms. The new way is to play. P, prioritize. L, limit. A, accountability. Y, yay. Prioritize, limit, accountability, yay. Well, what does that mean? Prioritize the things that you want to work on, right? Because then you can actually win and feel really proud about what you accomplish at the end of the day. You do that based on your values and what you're trying to accomplish. L is to limit the time you work on things to liberate yourselves from overwhelm. Because let's be honest, the task is going to fill the time that you have allotted for it. So you may as well just pick a time to end so you can get it done. Accountability, so enlisting the help of partners to help keep you on track. And yay is to remember to pause, to take a second to celebrate. So as a quick recap, we have had to go through a shift in your mindset because we are the ER doctors. We are the medical directors of these tasks. They're going to keep coming through the door all day. You're going to get emails. You're going to get notifications. You're going to get phone calls and text messages. It's okay. Remember, you're always in control. Side note, one of the things you should strongly consider doing, it has helped me a ton, is I turn off all notifications. Literally all notifications. You should control when you go to look at information, not the other way around. How many times have you been deeply engrossed in working on something and then bing or bzz, bzz, and it pulls you away? Don't do that because then you have this attention residue where you're shifting back and forth. Ain't nobody got time for that. And it takes anywhere from 20 to 30 minutes just to get back to where you were as far as productivity and focus. And it's even harder when you have ADHD. Or other invisible differences. So the key here is turn off notifications because standard approaches, they're not going to work for you. And that's okay. That's okay. So the work from home struggle is very real. Transitions can be tough. Like I know that I really enjoy breakfast, for example, and my friends know my metabolism is running pretty hot all the time. So I'm always hungry. And so I love breakfast. I could be there for a long time. So we have to set up ways to help us transition because as Dr. Ned Hollowell says in his famous book, Driven to Distraction, he talks about we have a Ferrari engine as a brain, but bicycle brakes. I'm going to let that one sink in for a second. Ferrari engine of a brain. Okay, we have a lot of skills. We're very smart. We're very creative. But we have bicycle brakes. So you're speeding down the highway and you try to stop that Ferrari with bicycle brakes. Not going to work very well. It's going to take a long time, right? And we're going to get frustrated. And so are other people. Or what you could do is you could know that ahead of time and put in some guardrails. So for example, I have my team. They meet me. We have, preset meetings. And I use that accountability and I leverage the people-pleasing aspect of ADHD. So I know if they're waiting on me, I feel terrible. I don't want that to happen. I don't like disappointing them. That helps me to be more on time. And even if I'm not perfect, it's much better than it would be if I was on my own, because I'd still be, middle of the afternoon, I'd still be at the breakfast table scrolling through social media or whatever. So one way that you can do this is by having accountability partners about when you're going to start. And if you need to body double, check out our community. You can go through my profile. You can put it in the comments. You need accountability. Say, I need accountability, or I want to body double, which is, if you're not familiar with body doubling is when two people are working on different tasks at the same time, and they can be in different locations. Usually it's virtual. But that's, for example, why my wife Andrea and we do folding with friends, 8:45 p.m. every Tuesday evening, 8:45 p.m. Eastern every Tuesday. We go live on our social media platforms so that we have that where we body double, we go through this thing together, and we encourage others to join us so they can get projects done that maybe they've been putting off. Why do we always feel like we are in the stress mode? It's because we have a hard time due to our time blindness. I never go into a day thinking to myself, you know what, I'm going to run late to every meeting and disappoint a whole bunch of people and be really stressed. Obviously, that's not the plan, but that's what ends up happening a lot of times because of time blindness. Because let me know, tell me in the comments, let me know if you can relate to this, but let's just say, for example, you're trying to get out the door to go to work. So you know that you have to eat breakfast, brush your teeth, take a shower, get dressed, maybe take a lunch, but then get into your car, drive to work, you account for traffic. That's a lot of thinking, but you're like, okay, that'll take an hour or so. Okay, we need a little intervention because each of those things is going to take way longer than you think. Like, for example, do you know what you're wearing to work? Have you packed a lunch? Is there bad weather? Is there an event going on, or is there rush hour traffic you have to account for? Do you need to get early to catch up on that thing you didn't get finished for work yesterday? And for, working from home, it's easy to dismiss all of those things. Like, oh, I'm wearing pajamas all day. Okay, well, do you have a meeting that you need to be showered for? Do you need to shave or do your makeup or whatever to get ready? There's a lot of things to consider. So that's why it's so important to have that ramp up time at the beginning of your day, the pre-flight checklist, if you will, of things to get yourself ready. I had this point written, blurry lines, which, by the way, I do not like the song Blurred Lines. Never liked it. Just putting that out there. Since we don't have breaks, we have to have clear cutoff times, or at least suggested cutoff times, to try to encourage us to be closer to on time. So a couple examples of this for work from home. So for self-care, the struggle is real for those of us with ADHD or other invisible disabilities. Like, for example, this is a real story, and I apologize to my team members who are listening. Like, sorry team, I can't meet at 1 p.m. because I have to go shower. Well, wait a minute. You had all day. Why didn't you shower? So if you don't budget the time to do these ramp up, these tasks to get you ready, the pre-flight checklist, if you will, you're going to end up like I did, with rashes in your armpits because you didn't shower the whole day, the day before, because you work from home, or you've waited all afternoon and you haven't, cleaned your armpits. So I'm not saying that to be funny or gross, but like, there are actual consequences, family-wise, professionally. Like, I had to miss several meetings with my team because I had to go get ready, like get dressed for another meeting. And that's really frustrating for me and for them. It can mess up your whole day. So what's the takeaway from this? You should have a deadline for showering, literally. I'm not even joking. Have a deadline. You have to get it done. And to incentivize myself further, I love drinking my morning smoothie. So what my little mantra is, no shower, no smoothie. Oh, my ADHD is like, oh, but the dopamine, I love the taste of it. I want to eat that smoothie. Sorry, no shower, no smoothie. All right, fine. I'll go shower. So that's my mantra. Put in the comments below, what is your mantra? What can you hold as a mini reward? Maybe it's coffee. Maybe it's a breakfast bar, whatever. Can you do something to help you, to incentivize you to do the self-care routine? Also, take a break for lunch. In so many of the jobs that I had in my time during corporate, people wouldn't eat their lunches. They wouldn't even break for lunch, or they would eat their lunch at their desk. And I just would look around, I'm thinking, are you kidding me? During my 15 years in corporate, I can remember so many times when my colleagues would be eating lunch at their desk. And that just never was even on my radar. And in fact, I'd be almost like insulted. And I'm just thinking, are we this out of touch? Like, does the leadership team not see that everyone is so overworked that we're having to eat our lunch at our desks? Now, granted, everyone can eat their lunch where they want, but sometimes I feel like it was not even their choice. They felt like they had to because there was so much work to do. So I can remember a very good friend of ours, shout out to her. Andrea and I met at her and her husband's wedding. She told me, take a lunch break. It's your right to have a break, to like clear your mind, go shopping or go just talk with friends or whatever. So another action item for today, take a break for lunch. You owe it to yourself. And then lastly, sometimes when you feel like it's hard to triage, when you have a lot of tasks and you're feeling overwhelmed, this is the time to take a break. So just like I said, take a break for lunch, make sure you take a break, step away from your desk. Movement is magical. And like right now, as I'm recording this podcast, I am standing up because humans are made to move. For my ADHD, I think more clearly when I'm standing. So why not take a break, move around, hydrate, like just refresh your body, get away from it because you're able to think much more clearly. I hope that this episode brought you some value. If it did, please comment. Just say, liked it. Just comment literally anything, because my good friend Algorithm told me that the more comments, the more shares and likes that we have. Basically, I would invite you, and I don't want to say desperate, but it would mean the world to me if you could comment and subscribe and share this, because all of those things help us to help reach more people to keep this, and I came up with this phrase, so I'm going to trademark it, the inclusion revolution. It keeps it moving forward and lets other people know they're not alone. And as you know, I'm a certified ADHD coach. If you are liking what you hear on the More Than ADHD podcast, consider scheduling a call with me and my team. Learn more about coaching. We have group coaching, one-on-one coaching, virtual coaching, and a lot of ways that we can help. Or if you don't have a budget set aside for investing in yourself, you could join the community for free. It's one of the fastest growing communities within the Patreon platform, and we are just so excited to be able to help you in any way we can. Feel free to go through the profile. The link's going to be in the show notes, and you can join our digital community for free and finally be in a place where you know you belong and you are totally welcome here. I was giving a corporate presentation today on disability awareness, and the reason why I am so fired up to do this is because there are still stigmas that exist and persist out there, even in 2024. And the folks that are perpetuating that false propaganda, if you will, the people who are perpetuating this stigma around ADHD or other invisible disabilities are the ones that they just simply don't get it. They don't know that our brains work in amazing and powerful ways. And you may have even thought this about yourself for a long time. So if the things we talk about, if this resonates with you, and if you want to explore, if you think you might have ADHD, you owe it to yourself to visit ADHD online. And at checkout, you can put in discount code Coach Ryan. That's Coach RYAN 50, Coach Ryan 50, to get $50 off. We've already had a bunch of people take advantage of this deep discount. And please do it for yourself so that you can figure out the best steps forward for you to be your best. That's it for us here at RMC Studios. That's episode 5 in the books. I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of our team. And I'm proud of you for showing up even when it's tough. And just know you're not alone. You're not alone in this. You are here with us. We're in your corner. And just know that you don't need to be fixed. You are beautiful and amazing just the way you are. And please let us know how we can help you. And remember, you are so much more than ADHD. Your diagnosis does not define you. It's just part of you. So let's be our beautiful selves so we can bring our whole selves to work and to our lives. I believe in you.